Hello and welcome everyone to round number 13 here at Zenith Online Racing for the Belgian Grand Prix here for the EU tier on the Sunday evening or afternoon, depending on where you live. But it's going to be the 13th round here for the EU tier, and to kick off the final leg of the season, the final 6 rounds, we're going to be heading here, to Spa, in one of the most historic tracks on the calendar. But here to take you through this one, it's going to be myself, QVR Packer, and alongside me, it's been a long time since I've said this for the EU tier, but alongside me is going to be Alt Maverick. How's it going, Maverick?
I'm doing good, yeah. You mentioned it's been a long time. I think Russia was my last EU race. No, I did Australia by myself because you left me. But yeah, I'm glad to be back, especially at Spa. It's one of my favorite tracks, and just it's a shame I couldn't be here on Monday to race and take you out to let Nathan win the championship. But if it couldn't get any better, we have some rain and quality.
It does indeed. Yes, you can see that right on the screen. It is raining here in Belgium. It is quite common, I would think, to rain here. Weather conditions are oh so unpredictable. But we do have a few new drivers, I believe. The two boys in the Williams Spawn Killer and however you want to say that, Ramatica, YT. I'm probably butchering that, but anyways. As is Falcor, Larkin in the Racing Point as per usual. Barton, Bagabones, Fuselim is going to be in the Hasbeck in the Alpha Tower. George 63 Russell, which is Ariel Nathan. His other account just can't get into online sessions, so he's racing on his other stand account that isn't Excel Landau. And then we have PWR Grim Reefer, F1 Giant to win it. Excel Miami, Harry Noirg, and Excel J. Cole, who is reserving in the Haas once again this week. But just looking for drivers out on track. I think the first driver out on track is going to be Harry Noirg, and it does indeed look like it's going to be raining. So alternate strategy if the track is going to be dry in the race, it's going to be whoever can survive. It's going to be on for a good result here in qualifying.
Yeah, a lot of the corners around here, they're very slippy, very oversteery, so if you had some bit of rain, you got to be extra careful, especially Puaha and Blanchimont, the really fast corners. And hell, even going to Val Rouge and Radion. I mean, it's uphill, it's blind, there's a bit of camber in there, and I've lost it there a few times racing in the wet, so it's one of the trickiest tracks when it rains, and but I think these EU guys, they should be good enough to...
Ooh.
Oh, well, I think I just jinxed someone there.
Well, there goes Spawn Killer off into the wall at the top of Radion there. Unfortunate there for him on his debut, or I think it's on debut, unless he changed name from previous. But yeah, he's off into the wall there, and that will be his qualifying session over, really, before it started. Harry Noir just heading through Curve Paul Frere. Almost sent it into the wall there. That is quite close in the Ferrari, so that would have been two drivers already out of qualifying here tonight. But everyone out on track currently right now, besides Bagabones, who is in the Renault, and George 63 Russell or Ariel Nathan are still in the pit lane. But here we go. Harry Noir is going to be the first driver to cross the line and start a flying lap. Let's see if he can get back around and to complete this flying lap. That it was sketchy. But anyways, down into turn 1 into Lost Source. Let's see what Harry Noir can do. It's going to be difficult to get that exit. Clips the curb nicely, but understeer, just clean understeers off the circuit. And now he's going to be going down the hill and then back up the hill through Eau Rouge and through Radion turns 2, 3, and 4 here. So very difficult. It's flat in the dry, but not quite flat in the wet there. He had to take a little bit of a lift, had to cut the top of Radion there, and was quite lucky, I must say, to not invalidate. But now past the Camel Straight and now into Leg Com, the next little chicane here on the circuit, turns 5, 6, and 7. You want to try and get the best possible exit. You can carry so much more. You can carry so much momentum there through the end, and now into Rivage. Very tricky corner. This is very easy to lock up, and it's going to be even more so easy to lock up that front right tire, especially in the wet. And then through No Name, turn 9, very easy to understeer off the track and into that wall and pick up warnings there in the race, especially when dry, trying to get the absolute maximum out of the circuit. And now through Poo on turns 10 and through and turn 11, dipping back down the hill once again through the end of this middle sector and now into the turn 12, 13 chicane, all over the curbs there, trying to get onto the inside. You can carry, trying to get the straightest line possible, and then through the exit now into Stavolo. This corner is very, very, very important. It's very easy to lose traction there on the exit as well. 126.552. He's the first one to cross the middle sector split line. Is actually invalidated there, has Harry Norg. So let's get on board with the next driver. It should be Barton or one of the Haas drivers. It might be Fuselim. I think it is going to be Fuselim. Getting a little bit of a slipstream there off the back bus, but now through Blanchemont, turn 17, flat in the dry, but not quite flat there in the wet. Fuselim just taking a little bit of a caution lift, and now into the bus stop chicanes. The final two corners, turn 18 and turn 19, is Harry Noir just in front of him there, trying to get the best possible exit because it's not the shortest of runs to the line. It's pretty decent in length. As Fuselim goes up to the top on 154.281, and you can already see as Beck goes on to 53.7. There's going to be a pretty big gap, pretty decent gap, as Larkin a 152.0, known as one of the best drivers here in Zenith Online Racing in the wet. So let's see what he could do. Larkin already up at the top by 9/10 of a second.
Yeah, I'd say some pretty calm laps. I was on board with Harry, and I don't think he went any lower than fourth gear. So it's just trying to minimize the wheel spin, just trying to get a lap in. Because especially when it rains, you want to make sure you get a lap in. You're not starting dead last, and I think just under half the field getting laps in now, so it's really good that we're seeing laps turn in. I think it was Grim Reefer was off at Radion to start his lap, and now he's off at Blanchemont again. So he's having a bit of struggles, so let's hope he can get a lap in soon.
Yeah, just pulling into the pit lane there is the Racing Point driver. I think George Russell would be the next driver to cross the line, but he's just going to be starting a lap. You can already see going all the way over to the right side. They get the best possible exit, carry the most speed across the line down into Losaurus to start that lap. Harry Noir should be the next driver, but he has invalidated once again. Jeanette is just heading through Rivage on a flying lap. Bag of Bones is on a lap, but he's invalidated through Stavolo. I think Ash's Falcor might be on a lap. He's half a second up in the first section, so that would put him on a 56.5, which still would keep him P7 last out of all the drivers who set a lap. But is there anyone closer? Barton's invalidated. Fuzz is going to be coming into the pit lane, back invalid. Miami's backed off. Larkin and J. Cole are both on laps. Larkin was up by half a second and 600ths of a second. Let's see what he could do out of the final chicane. It looked pretty decent traction there for Larkin, and he was able to find another half a tenth in that chicane. He goes on to a 151.481. Not obviously, but wrapping up the League of Europe Division 2 Championship last night for him, so he's going to have a little bit of a renewed confidence if he didn't already have enough confidence. But yeah, he's got on pole right now by 1.3 seconds, 1.2 seconds just about, depending on how you round. But yeah, anyways, J. Cole in the Haas just coming into the final chicane. Looked to go a little bit deep, but I think he's just going to be coming into the pit lane either way. So he's going to be off of that run, and we'll be into the pit lane. Right now it's an Excel 1, 2, 3. Larkin followed by J. Cole, followed by Miami, who is not on a lap. Beck is on a lap. He's a 10th and a half up in the first sector. I think Jeanette might be on a lap as well. Ash's Falcor is going to be heading through the final chicane. He was up by a second through the middle sector. Let's see what he could do. It's a 155.7, 1.3 seconds, but still going to be P8. George Russell just had to go off the track there at Blanchemont, maybe just trying to avoid the Williams that was just in behind him. But now through the final chicane, looks like pretty decent traction for the Ferrari driver. He's going to cross the line. It's a 52.5, and he's going to put himself up on the front row, but only 2/10 in front of J. Cole and more than a second off of Larkin.
Yeah, I was on board with George Russell or Nathan or Landon, or whatever you want to call him nowadays. Through the third sector, he was right on the back of that Williams. So I think that second that he's down off of Larkin came just in Campus Corner, being right on the back of the Williams, and especially going through Blanchemont, ran wide. That's probably another 3/10 there. We know he's got the pace, and I think he's definitely going to go again. And Hopefully we'll see that gap diminish, but just real shame that he got held up there a little bit by the Williams.
Yeah, he definitely has the pace considering he is leading the championship by a solid 46 points as Rob will get himself into the lobby. So now we can have 15 drivers once it does come down to race time. Excel Miami is going to be the second driver into the 151s, and he does a .985, finds 0.8 of a second there on his lap. George Russell still out on track, but I'm not sure if he is up or is on a flyer as Rob leaves, unfortunately. J. Cole's out on is on an outlap right now. Larkin just came into the pits. Back coming into the pits. Jinnett, I think, is going to be coming into the pits as well. Fusel and Barton, Bagbones, Inker, and Reefer all on outlaps currently. I think Ashes Falcor's on an inlap. I think he has run out of fuel. But I'm not exactly sure what we're going to call him. Ramotica? You just going to go with that? Ramotica?
I'm good with it.
yeah. Anyways, Ramotica is going to be heading through Blanchimont just now. He's a little bit of traffic in front of him. One of those cars being the McLaren of Ashes Falcor just gets out of the way nicely. They're on the left side of the circuit. But now the Williams driver, that is going to end his lap there. He'll still be able to set it, and he spins once again and invalidates this and next, which is unfortunate there for him. But yeah, that was going to be his lap, but now that lap has kind of been ruined, and he's not going to be able to start another one. So he's going to be staying P11 for the time being without a lap time being set. Grim Reefer, I think, is one of the drivers on a lap in the Racing Point. Yet to set a lap time so far throughout this session. Let's see if I can find anyone else. George Russell might be on a lap, but he's a 10th down in the first sector, though. South Miami's coming into the pit lane. I think it's either going to be, it's Barton, who's just heading through Los Source, and Green Reefer are going to be the two drivers on laps right now, just heading through turn 12 and through turn 13 and down towards Stavolo.
Yeah, nearing the end of qualifying here, 7 minutes to go. Not too many guys out on track, but I feel like you can go out about 5 minutes and still be able to go a bit quicker. So I'd imagine some of the final runs and some of the final garage exits will happen soon. I think it seems like the rain's letting up a bit, so we might be getting a semi-dry track at the very end. So I feel like we're going to have one of those situations where it's the last person out who's normally at the front of the grid will probably get pole position, at least from experience. And we have a Ferrari off in the second sector. That's Harry.
Yeah, Aaron Ward having a little bit of a spin there between turn 13 and Stavolo. He's going to have to get out of the way, though, because I think Barton on a flying lap is just about to arrive on the scene of the accident. We've had a half spin as well. That is Fuselam on the exit of Pouan, so unfortunate there for him. But yeah, Barton is on a lap right now. He's a second up through the middle sector, so this would be a 53.3. It says it's purple in the middle sector. I'm not entirely sure if that is completely accurate, but right now this would put him into the top 5. Let's see if he can find any more time through the final two sectors. It looked flat through Blanchimont there. Had a little bit of a wiggle there on the exit in the rear end of that Renault, but it looked pretty stable throughout. Now through final chicane, looks pretty clean for Barton. Now he just has to get the traction to get to the line as fast as possible. It's going to be a 52.8, so he was able to find another half a second, but still that half a second was not able to find him another position. Harry Noir just starting on lap one of the Hasses. That's going to be J. Cole. He's up by 8.5 of a second coming into the final chicane. Let's see what he can do. It should be a pretty decent improvement for him. If he can find enough time, it should put him in front of Miami and maybe in front of George Russell. He finds another 10.5 in that final chicane and will put himself up under the front row on a 51.7. So only 0.3 off of Larkin now. So we're starting to get up to the top of the top driver starting to get up to that time and that early banker lap set by Excel Larkin. Only 5 minutes left here in qualifying. Let's see what the rest of the drivers can do. Someone just crossed the line. I think that would have been Beck starting the lap is Baggerbones. Crosses the line is a 154.422 and will go a 10.5 slower than Fuselam and will be in P9. One of the racing points, I think that's Grim Reefer, who is on a lap, goes very, very deep into the final chicane, but will be coming into the pit lane. He was, I think, 0.4 of a second up, but that would not have been good enough to find him a position. One of the Williams, I think that's Ramotica. I always have to look over and make sure I'm saying it right, as Larkin retires in the pit lane, so he's not going to be improving for the rest of the session. Let's see if J. Cole's on a lap. J. Cole's actually not on a lap. He spun on the exit of the Laycom chicane, so that's unfortunate for him. Does he have wing damage? It doesn't look like it, but he's going to have to get out of the way. Keeps spinning and is on the grass, especially since it is wet there. Those tires are going to be surely overheated. Have to do probably a cooldown lap if he has another fuel, or has enough fuel, and go for it once again. George Russell just exiting the pit lane on an out lap. Excel Miami is still in the pit lane. Barton is either coming into the pits or looking to start one, as Miami's just either accidentally selected wets in the pit lane. Beck has invalidated on his lap. Janet Fuzz both in the pit lane. Bagabones is not on a lap. Ashes Falcor just started one. I believe Grim Reaper's in the pit lane. So Ramatica, I think, just finished one. It did 57.9, and Harry Noir is just headed into the pit lane. 3.5 minutes left here, and not many drivers are on laps, as Beck has just spun going to Stavlo. How has he done that?
I don't know. I mean, he's past the turn-in point, so it must have been a pretty long spin through that middle sector chicane, if that's what you want to call it. But 3 minutes, he might have enough time. I'm not too sure. I know the wing gets replaced immediately if you go in the pits, but there's no more raindrops.
Yes,
so
indeed. Yeah.
It's not getting any wetter. That's even a word, which is good. So, but I don't think it's going to dry up enough, as Harry actually goes on the soft, so he's going to take a bit of a gamble. And, oh, no, he doesn't. Oh, yeah, he does. He's teasing me right now.
Well, I mean, I guess he doesn't really have much to lose. The only driver yet to set a lap time besides Spawn Killer, who retired in the first, minute of the session. So, right now, only drivers out on track are Ashes Falcor, who is on a lap, but is unfortunately invalid. Grim Reaper's on an out lap. Ramatica, I believe, is invalidated as well. Harry Noir is still in the pit lane and still has selected intermediates, but Excel Miami just heading down towards Puan, and I think George Russell is going to be the next driver to start a lap. Let's get that leader gap up right now. Just over 2.5 of a second is the gap between himself and Larkin. Is actually J. Cole. No, wait, never mind. I was looking at J. Cole. I wasn't looking at George Russell. I am completely mistaken. But yeah, anyways, George Russell, right now, P3. He has the best track conditions out of the top runners right now, because J. Cole's in the pit lane. I'm just trying to see if I can spot a Haas maybe leaving the pit lane. I think I can maybe spot one. Maybe, but I'm not entirely sure. George Russell, through the first sector, is already 1/10 of a second up, and so this could put him, this would still keep him P3 for the time being. Let's see if he can find any more time through the middle sector, just heading into Rivage right now, down to second gear, short shifting, third, fourth gear to get the traction, fifth gear, and now through No Name, he's going to go down to fourth, third to get the extra rotation, and back up to fifth just to get the traction and get the power out of the corner to carry that momentum, and now down towards Puan. He's going to use the curb to turn in. Get on to fifth gear just to get the cart to the apex, and then use 6th, 7th to get the traction, use the maximum out of the corner, carry the most speed possible, and now into the turn 12, turn 13 chicane. Going to avoid that curb on the inside. It can absolutely ruin your car and will spin you off into a wall if you're not careful with those curves. And now into Stavlo, a little bit wide of the apex, but he's going to be carrying quite a lot of speed all over that white line on the exit. Oh, and he's invalidated. He was up by 3.5 of a second, just heading into curb Paul Frere. That has absolutely ruined his lap. He's going to back off. He's going to go for another one, and we already know he has that time, or he has the time in the lap, but he just has to find it and keep it on the track. Harry Noir out on track as well. Selected the intermediate tires, unfortunately for us. Ashes Falcor is on a lap right now. He's up by 9/10 of a second. This wouldn't gain him any places, but it would put him really close to Bagabones, who's out on track on an out lap right now. Any other drivers? Excel Miami is on a lap, but he was half a tenth down in the first sector, as George Russell will cross the line once again to start his lap. I don't think anyone else is on a flyer. Barton has just started one, and I think that might be the only one besides Grim Reaper right now, just heading through Puan, and he's only a little bit up in that first sector.
Yeah, 1 second left. And the other McLaren of Jinnit, I don't think he made it to the line. So everybody else behind him isn't going to set a lap. So the only guys that are going to set laps are the two Ferraris. the McLaren of Ashes Falker, and then I think that's the Renault of Bag of Bones. Sorry, not Bag of Bones. It's actually Barton, who's off at Lake Common and actually lost a wheel. So very, very late entries to the track for these guys, and it's cost them big time. As George Russell now through Puhan wasn't on board to see a sector split, but with it not raining anymore, I'm sure it's gone a lot quicker. Now through turns 12 and 13, Grim Reaper has retired from the session.
Ooh!
Oh, that's the lap killer right there. Hitting the curb and spinning out there. And now through Stavelo and Campus in a bit of oversteer, and he's completely lost it. Loses the wheel. And yeah, I think that's just the frustration of losing the car through the chicane. I think he said there's nothing else I can do. Might as well just crash the car, pull Leclerc.
Yeah, but he does, I would say, has a little bit to lose, but I think most of his rivals have finished qualifying. Indeed, the only driver yet to finish here in qualifying are the only two drivers, Ashes Falco, who's on an in-lap, and Harry Noir, who's just coming up to the bus stop chicane right now. You can see J. Cole's stricken car. We saw a Nathan's stricken car on this lap as well, but Harry Noir, P14 right now, just exiting the bus stop chicane. Let's see what it's going to be for the Ferrari driver. Yet to set a lap. He's going to set this one into 54.5 and put himself into P10 for the race. I haven't seen anyone saying that it's going to be a wet race, so it should be dry here for the race for all 22 laps here tonight for these guys. But it is going to be Excel Larkin on pole position, followed by his Excel teammate in J. Cole, who is P2. George Russell or Ariel Nathan will be sharing the second row with his closest championship rival in Excel Miami in P4. Barton is going to be P5, followed by Beck. Jinnett will be P7, followed by Fuselam, and Bagabones and Harry Noir will round out the top 10. Ashes Falcor will be starting P11, who's just heading into the pit lane now. Grim Reaper will be P12, and Ramatica, the slowest out of all the drivers who did indeed set a lap time. And then Spawn Killer, the two Williams, will be sharing that back row. I think Rub is in the lobby, so we will have 15 drivers heading into the race here tonight. But it's going to be interesting. Larkin, J. Cole, George Russell, Miami, all those guys are very, very quick. And let's see if maybe we can get a little bit of controversy.
I think we've had enough controversy this week within the ZOR universe, so I'm hoping we can kind of have a chill race here and kind of get things going. And yeah, as you mentioned, Larkin has pole position, and then J. Cole, George Russell in Miami, P2, 3, and 4. Absolutely stacked first two rows, and I mean the gap to Barton behind Miami is nearly, I think that's about 0.7 of a second. So front four, I think, have firmly placed themselves, and I think if they can keep it together and keep this DRS train going, I think we'll see the front four kind of just pull away and have a nice little battle for these 22 laps.
Yeah, maybe. But maybe we could, have a little bit of a shock result, like Larkin retiring last week in the rain, which is known to be his specialty, driving in the not dry conditions, let's say that. Basically, if it's not dry, Larkin will have a good shot at winning really anything. But yeah, anyways, we're just loading into the formation lap now. Over here at the EU tier, they don't have to take the 2-minute wait time that tiers 1 through 3 do indeed take. But Larkin will ready up, followed very, very closely by Ariel Nathan. In readying up. So we should be heading onto the formation lap very, very soon. It's going to be interesting to see what these drivers will do. I think Larkin will go for the alternate strategy. I think he really enjoys going for that alternate strategy. So I would probably put money on it that Larkin will start on the medium combat tires.
Yeah, I think wouldn't surprise me if a lot of people start on the medium tires, because obviously it wasn't a dry session for quali, so everyone's got free tire choice. And see it here. And yeah, four drivers, one on mediums, one on hard, so it's a decent split, but I don't think it's as much as I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen races, especially in the 24-hour event. The last time, I believe in Hungary, there was a wet one-shot qualifying, and literally everyone went on medium tires for the race. To 50% race, where everyone started on mediums. And I remember, because that was the race, I fell asleep halfway through because I had finished all my races and I didn't have anything else to do, and it was like 3 in the morning, and I'd been up since 7 the previous day. And I remember waking up, and my teammate who was competing he was like, it was the most boring race I have ever competed in. I was like, that's understandable. But yeah, anyways, Larkin will be starting P1 on the medium compounded tires, so he's going to have J. Cole, George Russell, all on the back, and maybe Barton back if they get really, really good starts on those soft tires. Miami is going to be in P4 on the medium compound of tires as well. Zenith will be in P7. Zenith likes the alternate strategy, you could say. Fuslim is going to be starting P8 on the softs, followed by Vagabonds and Harry Noir, the last driver on the medium tires. So the two Ferraris are splitting strategies here tonight. Ashes Falco are going to be starting P11. What would normally be on fresh tires, but everyone is going to be on fresh tires. He's going to be starting on the softs. Grim Reaper on the softs. Ramatica has opted for the hard tires, interestingly enough. Spawn Killer, his Williams teammate, is going to be taking the softs. And then Rub, who joined late during qualifying, he's going to be P15 on the soft tires. But Larkin, who's taken an interesting line through Curb Paul Frere, will be starting off full position on those medium tires. J. Cole, George Russell, I'm sure, will be wanting to ruin his fun here tonight. Oh. Well, that makes it a little bit more interesting.
I mean, he was way off at Blanchimont. I mean, can you really take these guys seriously? I mean, okay. I do have to say, though, my OCD is kicking in. Because if you look at the tires, it's medium, soft, soft, medium, soft, soft, medium, soft, soft, medium, soft, soft, hard, soft, soft. It just looks good.
It does indeed look good, I must say. It is categorized very, very nicely. But yeah, Larkin, who was disqualified in the formation lap, will now be starting from pole position, so his tires are going to be a little, well, it's not going to be as warm as the other drivers. Also, the two Williams drivers were disqualified on the formation lap, but heading into round number 13, as the 5 red lights will come on in front of the driver, it's going to be the Belgian Grand Prix, and the lights are going to be out here for the final leg of the season. J. Cole getting a pretty decent start in the Haas. I think that's George Russell trying to make it up the middle of the two drivers. Yes, he did, but the Ferrari driver is lagging just a little bit now. J. Cole's going to get the switch back on Larkin down towards Eau Rouge and Radion. I think the Racing Point driver will just have to give it up, but they're going side by side. The Ferrari driver of George Russell trying to get involved in that as well. The Haas of J. Cole, I think, is just taking the lead, but now he's going to be vulnerable to Larkin and Nathan. But Barton has a pretty decent start as well. He's going to be up in a P4 in front of Miami on those medium tires. Didn't have the greatest of starts, did the Mercedes driver, but now J. Cole, or Larkin, looking up the inside. George Russell looking around the outside. He goes a little bit wide through Lake Com, and now Barton has to back out of that one. Now Miami trying it around the exit of the chicane. What can the Mercedes driver do on the run? He's not going to be quite close enough, but now breaking into Ravage, and no one's going to be going through moves. Actually back up the inside of Miami, almost taking out the championship protagonist. Beck gets squeezed on the inside. Jin is not going to be able to capitalize from that, but Barton with a pretty decent start. He's going to be up in P4. Miami has to get past him as soon as possible because J. Cole, Larkin, and George Russell are all going to be flying away up at the front of the field.
Yeah, it was a great start by J. Cole, and you mentioned Miami's stuck behind Barton now. He's got to get past him as soon as he can. As Vagabonds and Grim Reaper side by side through Puhan. Rob's making up a few positions as actually Grim Reaper gets past him once again at the back for 11. But yeah, Miami, he's got to get past Barton. He's got to get back up to the front group. He's got to try his best, and I mean, the championships.
I think Spawn Killer and Aaron Noir made a little bit of contact.
I think it's a bit scrappy in the back there. Lost a lot of time. As Russell makes a move on Larkin outside at the bus stop chicane. He's got the better traction. He's on the soft compound tires. But I think Larkin's trying to hold it around the outside. J. Cole's licking his chops right now, seeing these guys side by side right behind him. George Russell squeezes him out to the curb. He uses his ghosting cheat code to get ahead of Larkin and down into Eau Rouge. I think that's Ashes Falker around it. La Source.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
McLaren driver has made a little bit of a mistake there. Now has lost most of his front wing. Harry Ward has had to get a front wing change as well. But now it's going to be J. Cole versus George Russell versus Larkin going down into Lake Cobb here on lap number 2. Don't look at the screen out the top left. It is completely lying to you. But yeah, I think Jinnit tried to make a move or made a move on Fuselem into Lake Cobb there. Beck is already derating somehow. I'm not entirely sure how, but he is derating. Miami still behind Barton, who has a 1.9 second gap up to the top 3 now. George Russell makes a little bit of a mistake there at no name on the exit. He did that in Tier 1 on Monday night and was still able to win the race by a good 10 or 11 seconds. Was Ariel Nathan at the time. But yeah, Jake Cole still up in the lead of this race, followed by George Russell, followed by Larkin. I'm sure these guys will be line of stern for the time being until we get up to the bus stop chicane and through that final sector. Barton still holding Miami behind, and this is really hindering Miami's really hindering Miami's any hopes of closing it down. George Russell's championship lead, which I think is 46 points, if I'm not mistaken, or 43, one of the two. I think Ashley Fokker still struggling without that front wing, but now J. Cole, George Russell, Larkin, all closing in on each other, going on to lap number 3.
Yeah, I mean, Nathan or George Russell or whoever he is now, he used to be an Excel driver, so how much love has been lost between these two, between these 3 or 4 drivers now? Are they going to race clean, or are they going to shove each other off? And I think we're starting to see the front 3 pull away as Miami can't seem to get past Barton. But now Larkin, he's going to have a double toe down the Kemmel Straight. Wouldn't surprise me if he takes the lead down into the Lake Combe chicane.
Yeah, George Russell is going to be moving over to the left side. Jake Cole has absolutely no straight line speed. The Ferrari and the Racing Point both have DRS, both have slipstream, and now George Russell will be taking the lead. Looks like a little bit of a GTA race if you've ever had catch up and slipstream on. But yeah, the Ferrari driver will be up into the front. Barton picks up the first 3-second time penalty of this race. Larkin followed Nathan through, and Jake Cole will now be to the back of the train. So now I just have to wait for Larkin, or Jake Cole just has to wait 2 laps, and I'll be back up at the front of the field anyways. But yeah, anyways. The Ferrari driver will lead, and now will be able to push. All I know is that George Russell is absolutely rapid here at Belgium, so possibly maybe looking to extend his gap a little bit, possibly trying to keep Jekyll behind, keep Larkin behind. I'm sure he can do that and pull out the pace. Miami looking to the back of Barton into turn 12 there on the exit of Pouan, but not quite close enough once again. Barton, the gap is 3.6 seconds. Miami now has no shot, I would think, of closing up to the top 3. A little bit wide through Stavlo there from Miami, now through Kerr Paul Frere. He's going to get a decent slipstream. He's going to get a decent swing through this third sector and into the bus stop chicane. He's not using any ERS. He knows he has to wait until the Kemmel Straight. Otherwise, Barton will just blast past him once again. He's going to lose all that hard work that he put in to make that overtake. Beck actually making a move or try to make a move on Miami. Beck is going to be off, and he's going to pick up wing damage. Jinnit makes contact with him as well. George Russell sets fastest lap of the race. Fuselem will be up into P7 now, so Jinnit loses a position in Beck's attempted overtaking move, and now has lost DRS, has the Alpha Tower driver, and he's lost a bit of his front left end plate as well. But George Russell up at the front of the field, showing his pace, but he's only at 22% ERS as well as Larkin. Jake Cole actually has the most ERS now out of the top 3.
Yeah, they're spread out a bit more, so they're not going to get that huge slipstream that we saw on the last lap. So I think George Russell, he's in a really good position to try to keep this lead as Miami finally gets past Barton down the Kemmel Straight. So there is that, has to get past move done, but now at the back, since Beck has wing damage, he's creating this huge train with Fuzz, Jinnit, and Bag of Bones. Fuzz down the inside into Ravage. He'll get the move done. Jinnit gets in as well. But they're going to go side by side into No Name. Oh, just runs it out onto the curb. And I think Beck really just has to concede the position because he's going to be really slow through Pouhan here.
Yeah, Beck has already dropped down 3/10 and he's extended the track limits as well. Bones is going to be up his inside there on the exit, and now Beck has lost 3 positions in only the middle sector here, so he's really struggling with that left end plate damage as J. Cole and Larkin. Oh, Larkin's had a spin! And his wing damage. And his wing damage. On the front right, I believe, of his Racing Point. That's really unfortunate for Larkin. We mentioned in qualifying how deadly the traction out of Stavlo could be, and that has caught out the first victim of maybe many here tonight. Larkin should be into the pit lane. I wouldn't imagine what for probably hards, I would guess, to go to the end of the race, but those tires are going to be very, very slow. So now all the drivers who were in behind are going to be up one position. Miami, that gives them a free position in, well, really, but Larkin should be able to go to the end on those hard compound tires. But Miami's going to be up in the P3, followed by Barton, who's still in the back of him and still going to be sticking with the Mercedes driver. Fuselam using his ERS, trying to stay within DRS range right now. Jinnit is just in behind, followed by Backbones, and Back, who has taken the executive decision to stay out. Uses ERS, try and push on a little bit, but he's just going to be losing so much time. I'm not exactly sure when you can pit, but I'm sure it's soon. You can pit for those medium compounded tires as Miami, Barton is going to be up into P3 once again. So now Miami and Barton are starting to switch positions at the end of the Camel Straight. Barton should be into the pit lane in just a few laps. So Miami will eventually be released into clean air, but it might be a little bit too late for the Mercedes driver. For the championship, for second place in the championship, Miami going up the inside of Ravage. I think Barton made a little bit of a mistake, but now Miami has assertive dominance on that battle, and now he's going to be up into P3. We have yellow flag. Ashes Falcor's out. He is out of the race. Will we have a safety car? That's at Blanchimont. We have a full safety car.
Safety car. Oh, man. Now, that has saved Excel Larkin. He went on the softs, actually.
Well, I guess he couldn't go on the mediums because he was already on the mediums, and the hards are terrible. So I guess going to the softs was the best decision he could have been made. But anyways, he's gotten lucky, though, with a safety car. So he should be into the pits and go on another set of medium tires if he does have another set, which he should. But yeah, George Russell, he's going to be up in the lead. He should be into the pit lane. J. Cole should be in as well. Miami, I want to say, should be in the pit lane, but I'm not sure if he could. Well, he's definitely not going to make it to the end on a set of soft compound tires. He's going to be in, though. Barton will follow him in. Jinnit is going to stay out. He did this on Monday night on Monday night in Tier 1. He stayed out on the medium compounded tires when there was an early safety car. Everyone else on the soft tires is going to be in. Ramatica should be in as well. Spawn Killer should be in. So a few drivers are going to be forced into double stacking. George Russell is going to be out in the lead of the race on the medium compounded tires. Is Jaco going to lose any positions? No, he's not. Miami is forced to go on to the hards as well. Just looking for drives. Fuselam has gone on the hards. Beck has gone on the hards as well. Everyone else who has pit has gone on to the medium compounded tires, and Ramatica has stayed out on track on the hards, and he's going to be splitting Barton and Fuselam in the train once we do get restarted. Jinnit will be leading the train, though, on those 5-lap old medium compounded tires. Spawn Killer has gone into the pits and fitted the hards. Larkin has gone into the pits and fitted the hards, maybe not having another set of medium compounded tires. Harry Noirg will be in as well. I'm not entirely sure, but I think he started on the mediums and just went to the soft, so he might have another medium set, but I don't know. It might be a little bit tight to make it to the end.
Yeah, I think I'm actually surprised Larkin didn't go back on a pair of mediums unless he didn't have a second fresh pair. But I do remember seeing the ever trustful AWS strategies on the formation lap. I think it was about lap 8 is when the soft runners would have to pit and come on the mediums. So safety car is going to be out for another 2 laps, so we should go back racing on lap 7, going on to lap 8. So I think these strategies of going from the softs to the mediums right now is going to work out, because you're only going to get about 1 or 2% of tire wear under safety car per lap, rather than 7, 8, even 9% wear under racing conditions. But George Russell, he's on the fresh medium, so is J. Cole, and Barton and Jinnit, he's on the old medium. So how much of a difference is those 5-lap old mediums going to be, and how long can Jinnit hold on to the lead?
In Tier 1, he was able to get away from the field because there were a few drivers between himself and the top runners who had pit, because some other drivers had stayed out, including I think Beck, Scavney, I want to say, were two of them. But yeah, there were drivers separating Jinnit and Ariel, Nathan, myself, Dylan from him. So yeah, he had a little bit of a gap to pull away, but now he's going to have Ariel, Nathan, or George Russell right on the back of him. He's going to have Jaco, he's going to have Miami all right there. Obviously, Larkin is down in P13. He's right on the back of the train right now, but I'm sure he's going to be slicing his way through the field as early as possible. Well, Barton is possibly on for a pretty decent result right here, right now. He obviously does have that 3-second time or that 3-second time penalty, but he could be on for a P4, maybe P3 on track. You saw already that he was able to stay with Miami, and now Miami's going to be on the hard compound tires. The hards will be better at the end of the race, but those medium tires are going to be really good right now.
I think if Miami can just keep pace and try to stay within 2 seconds. I mean, obviously the DRS is only available if you're within 1 second, but at least with 2 seconds, you'll still get some slipstream. And you can be there at the ends. I mean, 2 seconds is not that much of a gap, and it can easily be made up in those final maybe 7 or 8 laps when the tires do start to switch over to where one compound is better than the other. So if Miami can keep pace, he's got a good chance. But, I mean, you got to think that the medium runners, they were going to pit on lap 8 anyway. They should be good to go. And they probably won't have any pace issues on the final 2 or 3 laps. So, going to be interesting. Harry's caught up to the back of the field. So we should go back racing now on lap 7, going on to lap 8.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with these guys. It should be 14 or 15 laps once they do get underway once again here for the Belgian Grand Prix. Round number 13, as I've said already many a time tonight, for the EU Tier 4 Zenith Online Racing. The final leg of the season. I believe next week, tomorrow will be Singapore, and next week in general it'll be Singapore for Zenith Online Racing. So it's going to be an interesting week for these guys right now. But yeah, just talking about a little bit of strategy, as the safety car will indeed be in on this lap. I think Zenith probably should have pit because, well, now everyone behind him besides Ramatica is going to be going to the end. Hopefully be going to the end on their tires, and now he has to make another pit stop and has to pull out a full pit stop gap to anyone that he wants to be somewhere near to, I guess. And that he's going to be on the soft tires, but it's going to be difficult for him to make up that time, especially since there are going to be DRS trains. Rub just picked up a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with Spawn Killer, even though Rub is in front. But yeah, let's get up to the front of the field. We can quickly go through penalties since we are here. Jennett with 3 seconds, Barton with 3 seconds, Rub and Spawn Killer both with 8 seconds. And those are the 4 time penalties. Well, I guess 6 time penalties there applied currently in this race. The safety car's in the pit lane, so Jennett can go anytime from now. He's going to straighten up for the bus stop chicane. I think he's gone. George Russell's going to be following him through, followed by Jake Miami, Barton, Ramatka. All these guys are going to be trying to make up as much time as possible, try and stay as close as possible to the cars in front of them. George Russell is going to be the first driver to pounce on the driver in front of him, I would think. Ramatica had a terrible restart, but obviously drivers are not allowed to overtake until the start-finish line. We've moved down the field. Larkin making his way past Spawn Killer on those hard tires, just not getting up, or just the Williams drivers just not getting those hard tires fired up quickly enough to make overtakes to stay close to the drivers in front of him. George Russell already through Eau Rouge and Radion closing up on the back of Jennett and already has a 1.2 second gap on J. Cole. Jennett will defend, and Ariel Nathan will be up the inside of Lake Kami. Should have this position quite easily. Jennett will just have to let him go. J. Cole, though, on those medium tires, not able to pick up this pace as early as he would have wanted to. Larkin has already made up a position on Spawn Killer further down the field, but this gap is 2 seconds. As I mentioned, those Williams are not having the greatest of restarts as Spawn Killer almost spins. Harry Noir gets that position but now Rubb is going to be on the back of Beck, who is struggling, it seems. And now Fuselim still not gotten past Ramatica, and now that gap is 2.7, 2.8 seconds, and Jennett already 1.1 seconds, already out of DRS range, and it's only been a half of a sector.
Yeah, I think, for Nathan to really pull out that gap, it just shows his pace on those fresh tires, and we did notice Harry get past Spawn Killer. Spawn Killer did get some damage when he hit the back of Rub. So now he's going to have to pit again and probably throw in a pair of mediums to see if he can take those to the end. But yeah, I think it was now Foz getting past Ramatica just before Blanchimont, and here comes Bag of Bones. He may look to the outside. He's going to try to get a nose in. He gets on the curb. Breaks just a bit late.
Grim Reaper's been tagged by one of the Alpha Towers. That's back.
Oh boy. I mean, they're way out there in the grass.
Ooh, rub his wing damage now, and back boats is in the wall. Eey. Well, a few incidents there going on to lap 9, but George Russell and J. Cole has made his way now, importantly, past Jinnit to win it as well, but Jinnit has picked up another 3-second time penalty. Miami P4 followed by Barton. As we mentioned, he would probably be able to stay with Miami, especially on those medium tires. Fuselem is now up into P6, followed by Ramatka, but now Larkin is up into P8. He started second to last. Oh, Rob's off into the wall. Is he going to be out? That's one of those glitch barriers, but he resets the track, so that could be a penalty coming Rub's way, but he already does have wing damage. Ooh, Grim Reaper. Rub goes, but now they're going to be going side by side down into Ravage. Grim Reaper has to swerve out of the way to try and not make contact with the Red Bull driver, but Rub goes a little bit deep. Grim Reaper goes deeper. Rub trying to get the switchback through Ravage, and now through No Name. He's not going to be able to do it, though, but Grim Reaper is going to be up into P11 now. But a few incidents there on that previous lap. Spawn Killer picks up another 3-second time penalty after pitting. He picked that up through Eau Rouge and Radion. But yeah, now Larkin is going to be on the back of Ramatica, who's already derating. He's not going to be using any ERS for the rest of the lap. Larkin is just going to have to try and find his way around the Williams driver. He's 1.5 seconds off his personal best. He switches the inside for Kurt Paul Frere. Now he's going to be up into P7. The Williams driver has no competition there for the racing point. He's going to be 2.3 seconds now behind Fuselem, who's a further 5 seconds behind Barton, who's within DRS range of Excel Miami. So Larkin already still not too far off of the leaders as DRS is enabled, and George Russell, Ariel, Nathan is going to be up at the front of the field. 2.7 seconds is that gap, but J. Cole is going to be followed by Jin, and DRS is going to be enabled. Jin could possibly fight back at J. Cole here and gain himself a little bit more time with that DRS. Excel Miami just barely out of DRS range, less than a tenth of a second he was when he crossed that detection point. But Barton's still going to be DRS. He's still going to get towed along down the Camel Straight, the long, very, very long Camel Straight. He's going to be going down into Lakecom and will still be securing P5 and gaining immensely on Fuselem. This has really set himself up for a good result here, has Barton.
Yeah, it seems to be a pretty good race for him. I was watching Jenna and J. Cole as they went through El Rouge, and Jenna just really closed in, so I don't think J. Cole's running with that low of a rear wing, but he made up about a tenth down the Camel Straight, so I could be wrong there. Maybe it's just the fact that maybe Nathan isn't using any ERS. But now the chase is on for J. Cole and Jinnit. Since they are within DRS, they can help each other. They can slipstream each other to try to get past Nathan up ahead. Especially for Jinnit, since he has to pit again, he's going to try to create the biggest gap he can to the guys behind and hopefully just maybe score some points tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Jenny's really going to need some points here tonight. I can't take a quick look at the standings. Right now, he's fourth in the standings. The driver in front of him in the standings, Callie, he's 18 points behind, so points would really help him in the championship fight to try and close in on the second Mercedes driver in the championship. Harry Noir on the back of Ramatica. They're both derating, going down towards the bus stop chicane. He's not going to be able to go for the move as Harry Noir just a little bit too far back, but we'll have the two licks of the chair, if you want to call that, down the main pit straight into La Source and down the Camel Street down towards Lake Com. He's going to be able to close up and possibly make that overtake. Larkin, though, has closed up the Fuselem. He's closed in the 2.3 seconds, and now he's going to be right on the back of Fuselem. He's going to be within DRS range, quite obviously, quite visually, through the detection point just before the entrance to Eau Rouge. And now he's going to be opening up that DRS. He's going to be looking to the outside of Fuselem. Fuselem will just give him the racing line. He knows that Larkin's faster. He can maybe use that DRS maybe for a lap if he's able to stay close enough through the middle and through the final sector. But Larkin's going to be up to P6 and looking to make a little bit of a comeback here in this race. Harry Noir has also made his way past Ramatica going into Lake Com, so now he's going to be up into P8. Beck is going to be the next driver to try and make an overtake, but he does have that, well, never mind, he doesn't have wing damage. He did tag one of the racing points. I think that was Grim Reefer, but that was on the lap after the safety car restart, so I thought he would have, but I guess not. But Vagabonds has made a pit stop as well for medium tires. Must have been for damage because he did go into the wall on the exit of turn 1. Spawn Killer also still made that one pit stop. Ramatica has picked up, I believe, his first 3-second time penalty. Yes, he has. Harry Noir has also picked up a 3-second time penalty since the safety car restart, as well as Grim Reefer. But, not too much going on, but Jeanette is still within DRS range of J. Cole, so J. Cole inadvertently helping Jeanette.
Yeah, I think Miami's starting to close up a little bit. The gap's now 1.6, so he's just out of the DRS detection. I think if he can keep on this pace on the mediums, or sorry, on the hards, he should get up to Jenna and maybe, just maybe, can get J. Cole for second place. I think we're now starting to see that 5-lap-old hards are going to be way better than 11-lap-old mediums. And still only a 10th being gained through the first sectors. I think that's Vagabonds off at Stavilo. There was a yellow flag, but he seems to have gotten the car going again. And just not the race that Vagabonds would have wanted.
Yeah, obviously damage at turn 1, not the greatest. Safety car restart that I'm sure he's had in his lifetime in league racing. But yeah, he's going to be down P13. Not the greatest of races for Vagabonds here tonight. Beck makes his way up in a P9, going down into Lakeham. One of the most popular overtaking spots on the Formula 1 calendar is into Lakeham after the Kemmel Straight. Jinnit picks up his third 3-second time penalty, trying to push as much as possible to stay with J. Cole. Spawn Killer's had a little bit of a spin on the exit of bus stop chicane, so that's unfortunate. Therefore, the Williams driver. But George Russell still up at the front of the field. Purple middle sector for George Russell. 3/10 still down on his personal best, though. So still pushing on as the Ferrari driver, trying to create a gap just in case there's, a safety car, VSC, anything of the sort. Or, maybe gets a penalty. J. Cole still P2, 3.6 seconds behind. Jinnit is in behind him within DRS range. Excel Miami, 1.9 seconds, 2 seconds now is the gap between himself and Jinnit. So J. Cole towing Jinnit along is not really helping. J. Cole's Excel teammate right now, he's in P4, is Miami, with Barton right on the back of him. Excel Larkin 5.3 seconds, or 5.2 seconds now in behind, 5.1 seconds. That gap is rapidly closing down for Larkin, but that DRS really, really hindering any of Larkin's progress.
Yeah, it's not helping him at all. And Barton lost a bit of time through the source. He was about 7/10 back off Miami. He managed to keep the DRS surprisingly. He was over a second at the top of El Rouge and Radion. So a good job here by Barton to try to stick with Miami, try to keep this P5. But yeah, Larkin, he's kind of just in no man's land in P6 between Fuzz and Barton. And Ramotika has left the session. Let's hope that he can join back and get back to racing very, very soon. Harry's on the back of Beck through the middle sector, actually. I think this is our closest battle.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that Beck, I believe, made his way past Harry Noir going into Lakeham, so now the Ferrari driver is going to be right on the back of him. Obviously, those medium tires should be working a little bit better than the hard tires on Beck's Alpha Tauri, which I do say fit very, very nicely with the white rims, with the Alpha Tauri white. But yeah. Harry Noir is going to be trying to follow him through, but I think Beck just has a little bit more pace because you can already see he's already pulled out that DRS gap that he needs to break DRS to Harry Noir. But now he has 5.8 seconds in front of him to get past Fuzz, as Jinnit is now into the pit lane. Finally, he's going to be onto the soft compounded tires. Where is he going to end up, though? That is the real question. He's going to be out, I would say, maybe behind Harry Noir. I think he might be out behind Harry Noir. So P10, I want to say, for Jinnit, or maybe he just might be in front of Harry Noir. He's going to be battling Beck and Harry Noir for these positions. He's going to actually split the Alpha Tauri and the Ferrari. So pretty nice there for Jinnit. If he was behind Harry Noir, that would have been very unfortunate for him. He's going to have to make that overtake, but now all he has to do is overtake Beck, and now he can get into clean air. 5.6 seconds, that would be nice clean air there for Jinnit, but that gap is starting to open up a lot more. He has to get past the AlphaTauri as soon as possible because he wants to start making progress on Fuselem, on Larkin, on Barton, all these guys as quickly as possible, and especially since we're on lap 14 of only 22 laps here tonight.
Yeah, I think Jinnit, I'd say his goal now is 6. Get past Fuzz. I don't think he can get all the way up to Larkin up in P5 unless there is another mistake somewhere. But so I think P6 now should be Jinnit's goal. He'll blow past Beck here. I think what's it going to be? I think 5 seconds in 8 laps is definitely doable, but if he keeps picking up penalties like this, it's not going to happen, and he's going to just have to settle for 7.
Yeah, definitely. 12 seconds of time penalty he does have now. 4 3-second time penalties is very easy, in my experience, to pick up time penalties here at Belgium. I think in a PSGL evaluation race right at the beginning of the game, I think I had 27 seconds in a 50% race, which is shocking to say the least.
That's embarrassing is what it is.
Yeah. Let's not talk about it.
It's not even shocking.
Yeah, let's not talk about it. But anyways, yeah, Zenith is right on the back of Becky. Will have the DRS done in turn 1, but the real question is, will he want to use that DRS and make the overtake there into turn 1? He can use it to slingshot himself past Beck going into Lake Hum. I think that's what he's going to do. Has right up the back of the Alpha Tower. He's going to use the slipstream. He's going to use his ERS, which I find a little bit unnecessary on the exit of turn 1. Since it is such a long straight down towards Lake Hum. You can already see the amount of time he's gaining just with the slipstream, just with the grip of those soft tires through Eau Rouge and through Radiant. Beck will move over to the right side, and Zenith will be over to the left side. And now all he has to do is pull out a 12-second gap and have that position.
Yeah, I think to pull out the 12 seconds to Beck, he's going to have to pass Fuzz and Larkin. So I don't think it's possible. So I think Zenith might just have to settle for 8th place, but it's better than nothing is actually...
I think it's Spawn Killer.
Yeah. Has, oh, the name's gone. Ramatika is, I think he's back.
Yep.
Good. We got 12 seconds to row, so let's see if he can make that up. Get P11 back.
Yeah, definitely a little bit unfortunate there for Ramatika. He's been on those tires since the second lap, as Zenith laps Spawn Killer going through curb Paul Frere, and will continue to get out of the way to Spawn Killer. It's that's what you like to see. He's getting out of the way out of all of these drivers. He's moved out of the way of Harry Noirg as well. Doing a pretty decent job. There is Spawn Killer, who will have the Racing Point and the Red Bull of Grim Reaper and Rob very soon, and then his teammate a little bit further down the road. But George Russell still leading by 5 seconds to J. Cole, 3.7 to Miami as Zenith's his fastest lap of the race on a 144.534. Barton is in P4 right now, still barely hanging on to DRS to Miami by by string. We'll just say it like that. Larkin is in P5, 3.3 seconds to Miami, and Barton is starting to close him down and is almost within Barton's penalty window. Fuselim, 7.2 seconds is the gap to Larkin, and Zenith has an 2.8 second gap to Fuselim, and now is trying to make up as much time in positions as possible after his pit stop. But Grim Reaper comes out of the pit lane just in behind Ramatika, so now the Racing Point driver will be down to P12, but now we'll have a shot at fastest lap.
Yeah, let's see if Grim Reaper can take away fastest lap from Zenith. I'd say he's going to want to do it once he gets past Ramatika. Unless he can get some slipstream down the Kemmel Straight next lap, because that would really help his chances of getting fastest lap away from Zenith. Zenith, I think he'll get past Fuzz on lap 18. That's going to be my final prediction of the evening. And he's purple sector too, so Zenith still has a bit of pace in these tires. And he was down on his time by about a hundredth, I think I saw, so it's not too bad. Let's see if he can just go a bit quicker. He's got some slipstream from Fuzz down the back straight and into the bus stop chicane. So let's see if Zenith go a bit quicker and try to hold on to that fastest lap for just another lap. And he does go a tenth quicker to 44.4. That will come up on the screen of Grim Reaper, and that will be the time that he will now have to chase, as Zenith might be in the striking zone of Fuzz now.
It definitely looks like he's close enough going through Eau Rouge and Radion. 6.5 tenths is about the gap. Fuselim has 50% ERS, but will use it just to hold up Zenith just ever so slight, or well, just for possibly and on the lot. Fuselim moves all the way over to the right side, breaking the slipstream, and he used around 10% ERS before he hit the braking zone there for Lake Hum. So Zenith will have to stay in behind one more time, and he only gained a 10.5 down the straight. So not exactly what he needs to be gaining, but those soft tires are going to be so very quick through the slow bits, through the fast bits of this circuit, and there are many of them. He gains so much time just through those first few corners of the middle sector, through Lake Com, through Ravage, through No Name, and now through Puon for all these guys, or for Jinnit and for Fuselem. The gap, 2.5 tenths of a second. It's easily the closest battle out on track. The next closest, I think, is going to be the battle between Martin and Miami. Miami has finally broken DRS range to Barton, but now Barton is in a little bit of a no man's land. He has 3.4 seconds to Larkin, but does have a 3-second time penalty, so it's really only a 3/10 gap to Larkin, and on track 1.6 seconds is the gap between himself and Miami. But I'm sure he's going to be trying to keep Larkin out of that penalty window. Spawn Killer picks up a 3-second time penalty. They're unfortunate for him, but Jinnit doesn't have much ERS, but he's going to be within DRS range on this lap. Going on to the pit straight behind Fuselem for the battle for P6 out on track into turn 1. He was 1.5 seconds, it said, or 1.45 seconds off of his personal best, so not pushing on that lap per se, but now going down to Lake Com, I think this should be an easy move here for F1 Jinnit to win it.
Yeah, my prediction's correct. Lap 18, he saved a bit of ERS, and now he's going to get past Fuzz down the Kemmel Straight and into the Lake Com chicane. And I think about a bit of the slide through the left-hander, but holds on to it nicely. 4 or 5 laps to go here, so I don't think he's going to stretch out that 12-second gap that he needs to hold on to this position. But looking at it now, he should finish P9. Harry right now would still get Jinnit in terms of the time penalties. Actually, no, he wouldn't, because Harry has a penalty. So I think Jinnit might hold on P8. It's not too bad, but I think looking back on it, Jinnit probably should have pitted there once the safety car happened on lap 3, because that really hurt his strategy for the rest of the race.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you on that statement there. But George Russell, though, up at the front of the field, every driver besides Jinnit, who we were just mentioning, and Ramotika, did indeed pit under the safety car. So George Russell, the biggest benefitter, if that's even a word, out of the guys who pitted there. But obviously, just the pace is able to use to pull away from J. Cole, which the gap is 5 seconds from Miami, 5.2 seconds between those two drivers. Barton, 1.6 behind, is still sticking with Miami for the time being. Larkin, 2.6 seconds behind, even without a time penalty, and Barton does have one, so he's right now overtaking Barton and will finish P4. After penalties, Harry Noir makes his way into the pit lane for a fresh set of soft compound tires. He was in the pits, so I'm not entirely sure why he's pitting, unless he wasn't going to be able to make it to the end on those tires. But he should be able to easily make his way past Grim Reefer and maybe onto the back of Rub eventually. But just exiting the pit lane on his lap 19. Only 22 laps here, so once George Russell crosses the line, I think it'll only be 3 to go.
Yeah, the last time a person named George Russell was leading a Grand Prix, there was a tire malfunction in the pit stop, so let's hope that doesn't happen today. And he might have just fallen asleep there. He clipped the grass. Going
it's the EU tiers, not tier 1. He can't fall asleep.
Oh yeah, I mean it's still late. It's 8 o'clock, so I mean,
very true.
It could still happen. I mean, it's 3 o'clock here, and I'm ready to fall asleep. So,
Me too. Me too.
I'm only awake because I had a Red Bull before this, but yeah, let's hope there's no more pit stops, and we can see a George Russell on top of the podium here in Formula One in the Zenith Online Racing EU tier. I would have thought that the hards would start to be a bit better than the mediums going near the end of the race, but I think I was right in saying that the soft runners were going to pit on lap 8 anyway, and that was lap we went back racing. So I kind of thought that the mediums might not have that much They weren't going to have that much of a struggle at the end, and I think I am correct on that. So I'm just going to go ahead and pat myself on the back. But Barton's actually closing in Miami here.
Yeah, Barton 1.4 seconds. He's been able to close that gap down by a solid 2/10 there for the Renault driver. So maybe just found a little bit of a second life with those medium tires, possibly. A gap that is close out on track is Harry Noir versus Grim Reaper. Ooh, look how close Harry Noir is getting through Eau Rouge and through Radion. Uses a little bit of ERS. Does Harry Noir? He has the DRS, but it will be up into P10 now, looking on for 1 point. Ramotica and Vagabond's pits. I'm guessing that's going to be for fastest lap. But Harry Noir will be up into P10 because both of them do indeed have 3-second time penalties. Rob actually has 20 seconds of penalties, which is quite the achievement, I must say. So Harry Noir should be up another position. So P9, I'm sure he'll be pretty decently happy with that, considering he started what was, I think, almost last, I would want to say. He is actually even, never mind.
Off.
Oh!
He flipped the curb at Puhan.
Well, as soon as I start talking good about him, he's off into the wall. I think I've replaced Camden with the commentator's curses. But so George Russell is doing absolutely amazing here tonight. Nothing wrong. Hopefully he won't bin it into a wall. Winning the championship, he's obviously... Okay, I need to stop this now. But yeah, anyways, Ariel Nathan on the penultimate lap right now, just heading into Rivas. He does have the gear glitch for me, unfortunately, but... yeah, so I just have to... Well, I mean, he's up at the front. We don't really have to watch him, so... anyways,
That's
Jake P2, Miami, looking to wrap up this solid P3. Larkin has gotten within DRS range of Barton finally for that P4. Barton obviously has a time penalty and Larkin does not, as you can see by the graphic on the right side of their tires' lives. But yeah, Larkin should be P4, so to be an Excel 234 for these guys. Jinnit in P6 right now, but he does have those 12 seconds of time penalties, so he will be falling behind Beck. So he will be down to P8, even with Beck's 3-second time penalty. Rub, P9, as I mentioned, has 20 seconds of time penalties. And then Grim Reaper, Harry Noir, Grammatica, Bagbone, Spawn Killer, not Spawn Killer, but the other 4 drivers all have 3 seconds of time penalties, but are neither of them are close enough to each other to make an overtake. And Spawn Killer in last, 1 minute and 17 seconds off of his teammate, does have 9 seconds of time penalties. I think that's Spawn Killer just getting out of the way of, I think that was a Ferrari of Harry Noir. But George Russell has started his final lap, and Larkin's on the back of Barton. Let's watch this battle for P4 here on track.
Yeah, Larkin really close to the back of Barton now. His fuel light's flashing, so should be good to go to the end. And he's got about 14. It's going down now. He's on the overtake button. Barton's at 0. The Larkin pulls to the inside, down the Camel Straight. He'll get past Barton, and he will firmly finish in P4. He doesn't have to gain any positions on penalties. That's what I love to see. I don't like penalties changing the position order. It makes it a nightmare trying to say the names as they come over the line, and then they jump from 4th to 10th, and you're like, whoa, what happened there? So, yeah, top 4 not having any penalties. Oh!
Ooh, Larkin's off!
Okay. I'm going to leave. I'm done.
Larkin has been commentators cursed by Maverick. So it's not just me, but Larkin has indeed spun, and now he will be down to P5, P6 on track, I would imagine, considering Jinnit is right in behind him. But Jinnit does have those time penalties. But yeah, Barton now will be gifted with 4th place because of Larkin. But George Russell will be crossing the line to win this race for REL Nathan and sets a personal best by 7/10 of a second on the final lap. Jake Cole crosses the line, will finish P2. Excel Miami will cross the line and finish P3. Barton will finish cross the line and finish P4 eventually. Jinnit was going to stay. Ooh, Jinnit's had a spin. I don't think he'll lose any more positions considering how many time penalties Rob had, but Larkin will finish P5 on track. Jinnit will finish P6. Fuselem will overtake him as we predicted. Beck will overtake Jinnit as well as we predicted. So it's going to be P8 for Jinnit. Rub will finish won't finish P9 because of penalties. I'm sure Grim Reaper and Harry Noir will both overtake him, so that'll be P9 for Grim Reaper and P10 for Harry Noir, and then Rub will be P11. Ramatica will be P12, 24.3 seconds behind. Bagbones, 2.4 seconds behind, will be P13. And Spawn Killer will be the last driver to finish, as Rub might have just made a little bit of a mistake there. Out of the final corner and picked up a 5-second time penalty. Well, that's just one that he had not served yet. But yeah, Grim Reaper and Harry Noir will be past the Red Bull driver. So no points, unfortunately, there for Rub. And still pointless, I do believe, here in the EU tier. But we just wait for the rest of the drivers to finish the race then. And we can begin to get Ariel, Nathan, J. Cole, and Miami. Just have to add George 63 Russell to the party. And then we can get the interviews kicked off.
Say it's his 10th account. That's what I asked him yesterday. Rub gets driver of the day, the in-game driver of the day. So he must have gained the most positions out on track.
Yeah, you can see there Michael Schumacher or George Russell or the Ferrari driver of Ariel Nathan claiming the winner's trophy there for Ferrari, and will extend his championship lead here tonight. But yeah, decent performance from all of those guys there, and we can get these interviews kicked off whenever they decide to get up and join the party. Just currently trying to fill out the standings, or well, the results in the Google Sheet, and so you can have those updated as soon as possible. But yeah, just to take you through the order, it was George Russell, followed by J. Cole, followed by Miami, Barn, Larkin, Fuselem, Beck, Jinnit, Grim Reaper, and Harry Noir. Outside the top 10 were Rub, Bagbones, Ramatica, Spawn Killer, and Ashes Falcor, who did not finish the race and was the cause of the only safety car of the race. But yeah, we can't. I am going to quickly just fill out the top 10 from the race. I have to refresh my stream so I can get the results. So it was J. Cole, and then it was Excel Miami, and then it was Barton, and then it was Larkin, Fuselem, Beck, Jinnit, F1 Jinnit to win it, PWR Grim Reaper, but I'm not sure if he's... Is that Purple Squirrel? Do we know that?
I think Grim Reaper is Purple Squirrel.
Because I remember he posted something for Beer League on Friday, and he said something about Purple Squirrel being dead or something, so I might be Purple Squirrel.
Oh yeah, Dead Squirrel or something like that.
Yeah. So I think that is Purple Squirrel, so we can just put that in the Google Sheet as Purple Squirrel. But yeah, that was the top 10. Who had the fastest lap? It was Bagabones in P12 on a 43.939. So unfortunately, he will not be picking up any points for that. But we can indeed put that on the Google Sheet, and he will get the fastest lap achievement for that. 143 point. Was it 939? Yeah, it was 939. Great. He finished P13. Ramatica. And then it was Spawn, or is it X Spawn Killer? Yeah, it is. And then it's Ashes Falcor. There we go. There. Great. So now we can update indeed update you with the standings. Without stewards' decisions from Spain or from Belgium. I'm not sure if it will be any stewards' decisions from Belgium. Or, well, any stewards' decision to be made from Belgium. But yeah, it is Excel Lando leading the... Well, not Excel Lando. That's just the name in the stream, or on the Google Sheet. Yes, we did catch it. It was a little bit of a difficult angle in my brilliant overtake on Beck. I didn't know you can make brilliant overtakes, but I don't remember really. But yeah, championship update. Ariel Nathan on 237 points. 56 points behind is Excel Miami. Callie is P3, followed by Janet on, if I could use my eyes, is on 101 points. Barton is on 90 in 5th place. Dylan is on 86 in 6th place. Harry Nowarg is on 81. Bagabones is on 60. Toxic MML is on 46. Beck is on 44. J. Cole is on 33. Fusalim is on 28. Zamagos on 10. DJ Panda on 2. Rob, Ashes, Falcor, The Great Mass, Ramitska, and Spawn Killer all on 0, not scoring points here tonight. Are the drivers going to join the party for interviews?
I feel like
At
Miami and J. Cole are probably consulting Larkin right now.
Nathan, at J. Cole, at Miami interviews.
Are they even? Do they have access to the party?
It should be in here. It's the ZOR party. I just added them. Someone said no. Larkin responded with no. But yeah, Nathan, I can quick add George Russell to the party because I do have him on my friends list. But J. Cole has joined the party. I just have to add Mr. George Russell to the party. Speaking to royalty, Formula One royalty, obviously. Right. Okay, there we go. So we can let's just start off with J. Cole. He's the first one to join the party. So, J. Cole. Once I can bring up the results once again. Front row in qualifying, 2.5 tenths off of Larkin, and then second place again in the race. So are you happy with that? Happy with qualifying, and then just not quite quick enough to stay up with George Russell?
Well, I want to just say, first of all, I think qualifying, I had the time to go out, but then Fuzz, my teammate, also wanted to go out at the same time, which then decided it wanted to, well, it didn't give me enough time to then get my lap done, so thank you to Fuzz. But yeah, no, just overall, it was a decent race. I think at the beginning, it was a good battle between me, Nathan, and Larkin, and then all of a sudden it just didn't go to plan, and yeah, Nathan sort of just shot off up the road once the safety car restart. I just couldn't keep up, and that was about it.
Yeah,
Oh, go on.
I'll go. Yeah, J. Cole, I think your only action you had on track was when you got absolutely mugged on the Kemmel Straight by, I think it was Miami and George, early on the race. But after that, it was a pretty calm race. You mentioned the safety car you just couldn't keep up. So were you just happy to hold on to second, or do you think that changing the strategy a bit, you could have maybe pushed on and maybe stole the win away from George Russell?
Don't think I was taking that win. I'm going to be honest with you. I know I was probably I was just going to be happy with second at that point. As long as I was ahead of Larkin and Miami, that was about it.
Yeah, well, congrats on the second place. I believe you were second last week as well. No, third. Never mind. But anyways, now on to Miami. Third place result for you here tonight. Obviously, after that difficult week in Spain 2 weeks ago. 56 points, I do believe, now behind in the championship battle to Nathan or George Russell or whatever he wants to be called now. Looking for the championship or just looking to wrap up that second place?
Well, I've got it in the bag actually. It's my tactic to drop behind. Looks like I'm giving him a chance. Then I'm gonna come back and win all the remaining races, and he's gonna spin out. So no, nah, not really. I don't have the pace, to be honest. I'll need safety cars and things like that to help 12 to give me a chance. But I mean, never say never. But I think I'm happy. I'm happy if I take P2 in the drivers.
Yeah, Miami was a pretty good race from you today to come home in P3. You started on the mediums, and then early safety car really compromise your strategy because then your only option was to go on the hards or stay out like Jinnit did, and you saw what happened to him. He ended up finishing P8. So what what was your initial reaction when the safety car came out because you hadn't known that that was going to compromise your strategy for the whole race?
Well, my initial reaction was fuck, basically, and like you said, my only option was go to the hards, and and then when that happened, I sort of my only goal was to keep Barton behind because he was quick on the mediums, and I have a feeling I was running slightly more front wings, so I was a bit slow on the straights, but I mean it worked out in the end, and I kept him behind, so yeah, I'll take P3. I'll take P3 from the early safety car.
Yeah, congrats on the podium. And now on to Excel Lando, Noob, Ariel, Nathan, George Russell. Do you have any other names you would like to go by?
Well, I mean, we've got 5 races left, so I can get 5 more accounts, possibly.
Well, you could get 10, you know. You have Tier 1 as well.
Yeah.
Or a better internet connection. Who said that?
Oh,
I can get through half of the real life F1 good of names. Nikita Mazepin.
I think you should replicate that in Tier 1 on tomorrow. That'd be very nice. But yeah, anyways, all joking aside, congrats on the win once again. If I take a quick count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, eighth win of the season and 10th podium of the season. Happy? Yes? No? Won by however many seconds?
Disappointed. Can't believe it. Yeah. No. Obviously, happy to get another win. And obviously, 56 points now. I think. Hopefully, as long as I can keep it on track and out of barriers. Obviously, it's Singapore next, so yeah. I mean, we saw what happened at Baku. I lost my wing 4 times. Yeah. Gotta just take it very cautious at Singapore and just try to actually just finish the race, I think.
Yeah, Nathan, congrats on the win. Let's hope you can do the same thing tomorrow and really help Williams in Tier 1. But Packer said he had, I think it was like, what, 56 points ahead in the championship. So do you think you have one hand on the trophy right now going into the final 4 or 5 races, or are you kind of going to keep your hands tied behind your back and restrain yourself until the second to last race?
I mean, knowing me in both divisions, somehow it will end up going to the final race because I know me, and I definitely will hit a wall or have a spin. There was a few times today actually that I almost lost the car. I think it was through No Name, I believe it is, that like the back end just kept stepping out, or I like going towards the bus stop. I just like kind of have a lapse of concentration, and then suddenly it just was like kind of on the grass partly. So yeah, like little mistakes like that, obviously around say like a track like Singapore or say Canada, for example, could obviously cost you a lot more than say Belgium, where it's like quite wide. So yeah, not really thinking about it, but yeah, it'd be obviously nice to like try and win it sooner. But yeah, I mean anything can happen. And obviously, I mean you never know. Like if I end up having to like miss a race or something, and then obviously Miami could obviously pull quite a few points back. So yeah, it's definitely like it's definitely not over for sure. I think there'll definitely be 1 or 2 more twists that will probably take it. I reckon it'll be the second to final race, I think.
Well, I believe the famous Murray Walker quote is, anything can happen in motorsport, and it usually does. So, hopefully everything will happen to you and nothing will happen to me or Miami, and make it a little bit more interesting going into the final 5 rounds of the championship. But thank you, boys, once again. And as well, thank you to Alt Maverick for joining me on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening once again. But great race from the EU tier. Congrats to Nathan, J. Cole, Miami, and everyone else who participated as well. But that's been it for the EU tier. We have Tier 1 tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern at Singapore. Tier 2 or Tier 3 on Wednesday at the same time as well as Tier 2 on the Thursday, and then back again once again. EU tier 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Is it BST or GMT? BST, I want to say. And we'll be at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. But that's been it from myself and from Maverick, and that's been all, folks.